we're going to move on to recaps now, because we actually have stuff to recap.
Yes.
First time in a while. Adventure Time and Steven came back. And, Archer came back, but we didn't really talk about that on this.
They were both so good.
Yeah,
I love them.
Adventure Time is called the Pajama War. And on the surface, it seemed like a fluff episode. But I feel like the point of it was to show how Finn and PB have kind of calmed down.
Like how they've really grown.
They've grown so much.
They're not the little baboos they used to be. They're so big and...
It's like they've done what a bunch of people did, after, say, either after or during college, where they sort of went hey, everything's,
I should just fucking...
I'm gonna be super chill about everything, because I'm so goddamn jaded now.
I need to fucking relax. Because what this basically is, they're having a pajama party at the Candy Kingdom Castle. And Peach, PB and Finn basically ditch to go hang out by themselves. And the candy people fall into chaos while Jake just watches and documents the thing on his phone. It's all very funny.
Just watches and laughs.
And instigates at some points.
I love Jake so much.
Yeah, but what this shows about the two characters I brought up is that, Finn is able to just, hang out with PB and keep his teenage libido at bay, which, hey man, good on you. I still am fighting with my goddamn teenage libido. And
yeah, they just were friends.
They were just friends hanging out.
None of that romantic tension, none of the baggage, none of the crazy...
Not even any of the post-romantic tension from, say, You Made Me, which was really fascinating, but, I'm glad we can move on from it, and these characters can grow. And PB, who's, super anal about protecting her people, is let them fend for themselves. And, in a way, proving her point that they need to be protected at all times because they're dangerously incapable of managing themselves. But it's nice to see her not be so wound up about it. And this is coming right off of the cooler, which was 2 months ago. But keep in mind, that was the previous episode.
Yeah.
So, on the DVDs...
Anybody marathoning this is going to go from that straight to that.
Yeah, that's going to be on the DVDs. So, that's going to be interesting to see that immediate change in PB. The events of the cooler really hit her. It's what it finally took to make her realize that what she was doing was wrong and unnecessary.
Yeah, when we saw her unplug all of her cameras, she was watching people all throughout OO, and she was like, you know what, no more. And now we get to see the result of that a little bit.
Yeah.
Chaos.
What it is,
chaos and fire.
What it is, diet chaos. No, that was actually pretty
Candy
good.
chaos.
She's still responsible, but she lets them make their own mistakes, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's going to be less of a nanny state from here on out. Because that's absolutely what it was. It was under complete Orwellian surveillance. That's fucking creepy.
Yeah.
And we've seen it many, many times, most recently with the cooler, and that was the final straw, the insane lengths she will go to protect her people at the expense of literally anybody else. She's done a lot of bad in that. Even, actually, as far back as season 1, she was, denying Ice King Miranda rights during What Have You Done? She imprisoned him without cause, or not without cause, but, without...
trial?
Without due cause, without explaining to him why, keeping him imprisoned and everything, not letting other people know why, but because this is what she needed to do to protect her people, and being very totalitarian about it. And they dropped that for a while until I think season 4 when they started bringing it back and showing us how diabolical PB really can be.
Yeah.
But now we can see her being chill and just, enjoying her time and her life and not being, so...
Nina, Tooch, do you know what this means?
Yes. What does this mean?
That maybe now there's room in her heart again for Marceline.
Oh no, but her heart is already full of Timmy.
That was the cutest part, and she did it twice.
Yes.
But no, actually shut your goddamn mouth, because this was the thing with them. Because PB was so driven. And
she was single-minded.
Because there was that one episode when Finn was super when she was trying to talk Finn out of having anything to do with Flame Princess, and she gave that, like, monologue about, like, responsibility of kingdoms and whatnot, and how you have to sacrifice shit, and a lot of people are like, she's probably talking about Marceline.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you have to... I don't remember what it was, but sometimes you have to give things up to do the right thing, or something like that. I don't know.
It was a Wrath of Connie, and needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. That was Wrath of Khan, right? That wasn't the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So now she can actually have real relationships with people, like for real.
She can be a functional human being, and they can kiss, and I can be okay.
She can be a functional wad of gum.
All right.
And then Steven.
Steven, also big things rumbling on this, but more immediately. We see another gem.
That chilled me. More so than Steven. Got chilled.
Yeah. Okay.
Things are always real when other gems show up.
It's the realiest. Even if it's the one other nice gem, it's still super real. Rose. That was real. That got real. That was a different kind of real, though. I'm actually trying to remember everything except the last part. Okay.
Okay, so the premise is that they're warping back from some mission. Steven has terrible allergies. He pokes his head out of the warp, beam and sees, space or whatever. And he sees something traveling. And he's like, whoa, something else is warping. And they're like, no way, Steven. And the whole episode is him pretty defiantly, actually, trying to prove that there is something out there and them denying it. And them getting really worked up about it and fighting. Unlike, in a way they haven't fought before at all.
All three of them, really.
Different. All three of them, they had never fought like that before. But it was like a real fight. And then it turns out, and there's a lot of development there, and it turns out that there was something. And it was something that was repairing all the broken warp pads.
Which we had seen in the episode Space Race, which Cartoon Network thankfully aired immediately after this. Yeah. Where, the reason... That whole episode, trying to get into space because Pearl wanted to see the cosmos again because they couldn't because the off-world warpads on Earth were broked.
Yeah. And we see a gem warp onto the pad that's fixed. And she's very intimidating. We get this feeling that she's very dangerous. Amethyst and Pearl and Garnet are panicking, major panicking. At the possibility that they can be fixed. She leaves, and Garnet destroys the warp pad, and she's like, we're not having this again. We cannot do this.
The risk is too great. The gem is they call her Peridot, although that is pronounced Perido, but, I mean...
It's a stupid name anyway. French. It's my gemstone.
Wow. You got a chip on your shoulder about this.
Yeah, I've had to deal with this shit my whole life. Let me get you a gemstone bracelet for your birthday. Which one is it? And I'm like, peridot, paraphernalia.
Periwinkle paraphernalia. That'll be your memoirs.
Why can't it be easy? Yeah,
so this is the second time we've seen a gem that isn't one of the 4 that have been stationed on Earth. And again, they're bad news. Nina, you had a comparison theory?
Yeah, my theory is that the gems, because in that episode they re-aired with the warp pads, Pearl said, these warp pads transport us to all of the worlds that the gems have control of or over the universe. And I was like, control of. And then Peridot was all about sort of taking over the planet, kind of, or that was the implication. So I was like, maybe the gem race is kind of like the Saiyans from Dragon Ball, and that they're these conquering race. They send little groups out to different planets to conquer the planet and gain control of its resources and whatever. And maybe Rose, Pearl, Amethyst, and Garnet were a group sent to Earth to do just that. But I guess Rose, with all of her beauty and love of good things, fell in love with the Earth and changed the other girls' minds, and they sort of had to fight to stay on the Earth and not have it conquered, which is why they completely disconnected from the rest of the gems in order to protect the Earth and because I guess they no longer believe in that philosophy or whatever it is. I mean, this is just my theory. But
that theory is literally almost the plot of this horrendous, awful Nickelodeon cartoon from that Audi's period where nothing good was coming out.
Are you talking about Butt Ugly Martians?
Butt Ugly Martians, yes I am!
well, I was thinking Dragon Ball because Rebecca Sugar likes anime.
And Ian Jones-Cordy is up in, and he's just trying to make... Like, that show he's trying to make is Dragon Ball in a shopping plaza.
It's got Gohan's original voice actors in it.
So yeah, I mean, things are definitely rumbling in Steven Universe. And I wonder if the Crystal Gems have almost kind of forgotten. Because, they were excited to see the cosmos again, and then when Peridot shows up, they're like, oh, fuck. Oh, damn it. Oh, crap, we just remembered that our race is terrible.
No, Pearl was excited. And I don't think her being excited to see space and her being afraid of the other gems is I don't think that has to do with each other, because she can still love space and visiting space and seeing all the beautiful things in space, but also be afraid of the other gems.
That's true. And actually, yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, now I'm thinking about the episode as a whole after having seen the finale, it makes sense that they were so defensive about there not being anything else traveling the warp paths, because it's not that they necessarily believed that it couldn't be true, it's that they needed it not to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, this is season 1 of this show. And it's like, it doesn't feel like they're doing a breakneck pace at all this world building, because there's so many episodes just like, I'm going to have fun with a watermelon.
Oh no, everyone almost died.
This show is so good so quickly.
The next episode is called Alone Together.
Apparently, I can't find the post, but it's like somebody reblogged it on my dash and was like, if you thought the last episode was something, then this is, something along those lines.
This is going to be a little something.
How many episodes is this season supposed to be?
Like
I
a
remember
million.
It being a lot.
It's like 200.
Well, I know it's renewed for a second season consisting of 52 episodes. So does that mean the first season is 52 episodes?
Yes.
The first season is 50. Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now. Season 1 is 52
Why did they make the season
episodes.
so long?
Well, you know what that really is? You know what that is? I mean,
they might change their mind.
What I wonder is that 52 Is that 52 segments or 104 segments?
No, that's 52 segments. Because I'm looking at the list right now, and it treats each story as one episode.
Okay. Which, I mean, it should, because differentiating seasons, segments and episodes isn't a thing with these shows anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're just not aired that way. Who cares?
Yep. It's 2015. Get with the times, old man cartoon people.
I think we're done with that.
All right.
Do we got shootouts?
Yes, we do. We got a YouTube comment. Hooray!
Oh boy!
From Kyler Avery of the Steven episode we did. Who said, this was actually a really interesting podcast. I'd love to hear your thoughts on episodes 20 and up, since they go way more into the mythos backstory. Perhaps a follow-up episode?
Maybe once a season.
Yeah.
Maybe once the season.
That's been my intention, and I assumed yours. Sometimes I forget if I discuss things with you before I decide we're going to do them.
Nah.
But yeah, we want to do an episode after the season ends.
Yeah, to sort of
look
talk
back
about everything that's happened. Also, Green with NB said, did you guys see the early storyboards of the Gravity Falls episode The Love God, which had a pair of old ladies falling in love and a necklace with a transgender symbol on it? And they want to hear a commentary about this.
And I would love to give it. Okay. One thing that I said when we did our recap of that episode was that it was like censorship parkour, because I felt there was a lot of things in there they got away with. I can't remember anything other than the bong in the van, which, I mean, if you're a real shithead, you could argue wasn't a bong, but come on, dude. And there is a thing that I have called, I didn't come up with this idea, but I call it the Animaniacs Gambit. And the creators of Animaniacs have said that they did this on all of their shows, where they would have a joke that they really wanted to get in that they didn't think would get past the censors. So what they would do is they would flood the censors with jokes in there that they knew never in a million trillion years would get through, which would desensitize them to the joke that is smarter and subtler that they really wanted to get through. And that's how we got that fingerprints goof. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that one. Yeah, I just want to, like, every time I see that, I'm like, that's, like, how, like,
Yeah.
like I want to believe it's a different joke that I'm not seeing, but
What else could it be?
no, they're talking about putting their fingers up Prince's butthole.
And I wonder if, in the case of the Love God, if maybe it even backfired. Because, I mean, we saw what was the storyboard, and this stuff that was cut by the censors, because this is what they wanted to put in the show. This absolves Hirsch and his crew of any, like, accusations of, no sexual diversity or whatever. Because he wanted to put it in. He said in his Reddit AMA,
they drew out the whole scene. They drew it out.
Yeah, he said in his Reddit AMA, I would love to put canonically queer characters in my show, but I don't think Disney will let me do it. Well, here's him at least trying. So, so we know who to get mad at, and it's not the person who's actually creating stuff. So that's nice, I guess. Nicer than it could be.
I really hope that Disney feels like this was timed super poorly, and now they're like, yeah, because like right around the same time that happened, obviously unbeknownst to them, other networks were like, we're gonna start putting gay stuff.
Yeah.
Like, literally around the same time.
Well, I mean...
Good timing, Disney.
Let's not give Nickelodeon any credit for Korra.
Oh, no.
Let's not give them a single piece of credit.
But at least they got that far.
Yeah.
They didn't say, like, no, she's gotta walk into the gay portal with Monty.
But also with,
That'd be the worst
Clarence,
gay
too.
portal. Oh, and Clarence, yeah. The two things that were cut was... when the Love God is in the diner, he's talking to this old lady, he's like, you should be in love with that person on the bar. And in the board, it was another old lady. And in the finished episode, it was an old man. Now that is, as far as like, things that the censors would want to cut out, very explicit, very obvious. That is clearly a homosexual relationship, and there's no way to spin that, unless you're like the worst person on earth. Mm-hmm. The other thing that got cut was to my impression a lot more subtle, or at least a lot less obvious to the kind of person who would be a censor, and that is that the pendant that the Love God was wearing in the finished episode was a male symbol and a female symbol kind of interlinked together. In the storyboard, it was this symbol, which I've actually never seen before, that represents transgendered people in the whole spectrum of gender.
It's a cool symbol.
It's a cool symbol, and they cut that, and like, I'm surprised that the censors knew what that was to cut it.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, like, you know what the thought I just
I mean, maybe
had?
I don't give these people enough credit, but like, why do they deserve it? Because the thing I've always said is that one reason why it's easy to sneak shit past the censors is because the kind of person who would become a censor is a square. And they might not even know that fingering is a thing you can do sexually.
I honestly would love to interview a censor. Someone who used to be a censor, at least. I don't know.
That would actually be super fascinating. That would be...
Right?
That's a goal for us.
that's
Hey,
really
yo, if
cool.
anybody knows anybody, hook us up.
Because like that's an easy geek to know somebody, because it's like you can't brag about it. It's not a thing. It's like, oh yeah, they work for television. Oh, what do? They make jokes. Not that's funny.
They take the jokes out. They unwrite jokes. They destroy comedy.
Ideally, someone who's like been out of the biz now, they don't care as much, they can talk lightly and humorously about what they did, and they can give us an actual perspective of what these people who television has mocked for decades, what they're actually like in their day jobs.
Yeah, and I would be willing to suspect they're answering to somebody above them who's even more of a square.
Oh yeah, it's just squares all the way up.
Anyway.
So yeah, if anybody listening knows anybody who used to be or is currently a censor for television, you could hook us up.
Yeah, that would be really
That'd be-
awesome.
We're about to tell you all the ways you can contact us in a few minutes.
Yeah. Any other shout-outs? Thank you for asking about that, because we forgot to bring that up, and like that's an important thing. Better luck next time, Alex. You'll get him.
Rooting for you.
I hope they don't start like cracking down more. It's like, what do you mean you put the stuff that we cut out on the internet? You're not allowed to have the internet anymore.
I'm sure they let him. I'm sure that they give him go ahead of time. They wouldn't have that oversight.
Yeah.
Forget that there's an internet.
I don't know. These people are pretty old. What else you got?
I expect that sort of thing from Nickelodeon.
What else you got, Nina?
The last thing is from our main man Donovan, who just wanted, after listening to the Eddie episode just wanted to ask us if we remembered this one episode that he doesn't know the name of, but it's where the universe basically breaks and everything is running completely on cartoon physics. The sun was a cookie, Rolf had 2 heads, and Jimmy's outline was removed.
Yes.
That
was the Ed, Ed and Eddie answer to Duck Amuck, right? Basically?
Basically, yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Was that the one with the There Are Many Doors, Ed Boy?
Yeah, there are many doors, Ed Boys.
I
Basically,
don't remember.
at the end of it, it was like they were playing pretend the whole time or something. I don't even know. It was pretty ambiguous.
Yeah, they were playing around with a lot of the ideas that it's a cartoon. Like, the sun is a cookie. That was like a perspective trick where he just, like, reached up and bit it.
Yep.
Oh.
It was all really weird.
I need to re-see this episode.
Yeah, nobody knows what it's called because it's impossible to keep track of any...
It's a really bad pun.
It's not a pun. They're not puns. There's no punning. They just replaced the word with Ed. It's a Control F function that you can do. It's not a pun.
I'm pretty sure it was, if not first season, definitely one of the first 2 seasons.
And for those of you who are wondering about this storyboard we're talking about, I am putting it on the Tumblr page so you can check it out. It's going to be uploaded by the time you listen to this.
Oh, the episode is called 1 + 1 = Ed.
All right. That I mean, with that title, it could be about literally anything.
All right, I think that about does it.
Okay, you can find us by email, thetoongoons@gmail.com, twitter.com/thetoongoons, or @thetoongoons on Twitter, thetoongoons.tumblr.com, where we post our episodes, answer a few asks, but a lot of it is Nina finds posts about animation, usually from people in the animation industry posting stuff. You see a lot of storyboards, you see a lot of test animations, a lot of interviews, really cool stuff. That if you enjoy this show and you enjoy knowing as much about animation as you can, you'll really like what we have curated. And by we, I mean Nina has curated for you.
Good job.
We are on SoundCloud, the Toon Goons there. We're on iTunes. Just search for the Toon Goons, and we're on YouTube. What is it? What's it? It's because the Toon Goons.
The Toon Goons podcast.
The Toon Goons podcast. The other thing was taken by somebody who uploaded 2 videos. Don't bother. Where we upload our episodes split up into the 3 segments of news, show analysis, and recaps. And we'll also put up cut goofs up there sometimes, and possibly some other stuff in the future. Maybe something from MagFest when Tooch and I go. Tooch and I will be at MagFest. We're gonna organize some kind of meetup, both for Toon Goons and for Cooperation Laboratory, the voice acting troupe that we're in, because several other members of that are going. We'll put more concrete details about that on the blog when they come to exist. That's this week. Next week, it is Lupin the Third Castle of Cagliostro?
Yes.
Okay, that's a movie? So
just look up The Castle of Cagliostro. It's Miyazaki's first film, directed film.
Oh, you can find all of BACCANO on Hulu. You don't need a Plus subscription. You can find it subbed and dubbed. Watch it dubbed.
Yeah. It's also on the Funimation website. Some of it might be on YouTube, on the Funimation channel.
I think it's subbed on Funimation's YouTube channel.
Screw that. Don't go there.
Yeah, so Castle Cagliostro, and then is a week after that Revolutionary Girl Utena? Or Utena?
Mm-hmm.
Utena, yes.
Yeah.
So watch this movie, and then immediately start watching Utena.
Because there's like 79 episodes and a movie. Okay, that's been the Toon Goons. I've been Nicky.
I've been Nina.
And I'm hugging. I want to hug Jacuzzi. I'm Tooch.
And
Jatucci.
that's
our ship name.
and thank you for tuning in. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
You mooks.